And these are some very easy engage opportunities that they have, whereas I think that the Deadlock Deepstate, they're going to have to work a little bit harder to be able to pull off some of these combos in the late game. You're going to see a lot of split pushing more than likely from Haze and the rest of the boys on the Deadlock Deepstate. I think that they're much more likely to try to spread the map thin and play the resource game against big Urners who really, it would seem to me, just want to group up and team fight as much as possible.
Yeah, and as Edu said during that analysis phase, on the other hand, Deadlock Deepstate doesn't really have a team fight. They have a lot of individually powerful characters, and given the fact that Ido is somebody that is one of the strongest Paradox players in the world, probably what we're seeing is a group of solo queue friends getting together to try to play their favorite characters. We're gonna have to see what that translates into here, as now we are in fact in this laning phase I've been talking about. We got two duo lanes in the center, as has kind of become the standard here, in the form of a Viscous and McGinnis together for Deadlock Deepstate, facing off against the Abrams and Ivy, while on the other side we have Great Talon and Mo and Krill versus Paradox and Wraith.
And the Wraith already landing that critical first blood over there in that long lane on the left-hand side of the map, and that solo up against the Vindicta, you can see got a very, very overwhelmingly comfortable lead, about 900 souls already in the lead for this Wraith. That's going to make it tremendously difficult for Vindicta to find her way back into the lane, considering Vindicta already not the strongest laning phase, very good at actually boxing, pinning down a target, picking off somebody when they're low, but sheerly farming, trying to play that early stage of the map, can be something that she tends to struggle with, and I don't think that, especially if Wraith can get the ultimate ability online a little bit sooner, I don't think that it's going to be very easy for her to find a way back into the lane and farm up comfortably. If we can get a lot more denial out of this Wraith and make sure that Vindicta can't get into the map anytime soon, we're already looking at a fed Wraith rotating in behind this McGinnis and this Viscous and trying to pin down the Ivy and the Abrams. You really need to shore up that one side of the map on the left-hand side and try to prevent any of that lead from spilling over into the other parts of the map. If you can keep the Wraith there for as long as possible and prevent her from extending that lead, that's going to be your best bet.
Well, this is a Kelvin still showing how powerful Ice Beam can be as they pick off the Great Talon. And these are multiple players now on Big Urners' side, still unable to crest 1k souls. Finally, we do see a revenge kill back over to the side of Big Urners, but the gold gap at this point is immense. You don't see this too often, Kaizo, even early on in a game like this. Unfortunately, with the map changes, this really helps a team that is ahead to snowball the laning phase. The map's a bit larger, and you don't have that speed boost right after first death to get back to the lane. And those contestations means that overall, we have Deadlock Deepstate forging a 3k, now 4k soul lead.
Yeah, and 4k is pretty big this early on. I mean, we're talking more than 1,000 souls per minute. That is nothing to scoff at. And you can tell just by looking at the map, right? Like, you don't need a deep analysis of it. Every single lane has a lot more yellow pressure than blue pressure. And it's because of this, what we're just seeing on screen here. All of this kill pressure underneath these Guardians, they are not shying away from trying to find these last hits and actually pushing them back or just sending them back to base the hard way. It is actually just tremendous how they've managed to get a lead in seemingly every single lane. And it's really going to be on the big Urners to find their way back in here. Maybe try to fight your way through that middle right-hand side of the map, that dual lane where you've got the Mo and Krill, but it doesn't look like things are going too well over here either.
Absolutely not. At this point, Deadlock Deepstate have put away this early game. They are able to run roughshod across the map, and for as much as we were talking about how big Urners have the virtue of this incredibly strong team fighting composition with a defined front to back, Kaizo, we are not in a phase of the game where those team fights are happening. These are the 1v1s, the 2v2s that Deadlock Deepstate want to take, and they are profiting mightily from it. They have lapped the field in regards to the soul count. Big Urners need a miracle to bring this one back. We're going to see whether or not Abrams can start that off, trying to approach upon a low Viscous.
Nice.
Will be able to just jump on top of them and get a revenge kill, but right now this tank is the only strong member of Big Urners.
And the Abrams is going to have to carry a lot of weight on his shoulders. That book is going to have to do some heavy lifting here for him, because if you take a look at the rest of the squad for the Big Urners, nobody else even have their ultimate ability yet online, whereas everyone on the side of the Deadlock Deepstate have that available. You're really going to have to look for this Abrams to help you out, but he's already been picked off. Now Ivy going down as well. Dude Man Bro will make sure that they get another one in the left-hand side of the map as well. Things are going bad to worse.
Absolutely, McGinnis gonna follow up on that ice trail. We got Frozone for the Kelvin, just pushing on in, as now we do see a group fight. Unfortunately, it's one where, once again, Mo and Krill and the Grey Talon are both picked off, and that means that that soul gap is only going to continue to increase, and as everybody gets hyper-accelerated into their builds, Deadlock Deepstate are going to start moving on to walkers.
They're already going to pressure this one in the middle left lane. Kind of hard to tell, actually, Narco, which one this is. Usually you've got, like, your purple lane, your red lane, stuff like that, but doesn't matter what color it is going down either way. That's a walker already down in the flex slot on the way for the Deadlock Deepstate. Now they're turning their attention to the Mo and Krill. He's trying to get out, but I don't think he's going to be finding safety anytime soon.
Nope, the pain zone has been activated, and this is the virtue of having a team so far ahead with something like a McGinnis. You can play Super Smash Mouth. Just run in there, tank whatever damage this weak team is able to bring to the table, then drop 5 turrets down in a place where nobody can escape from, and we saw Mo and Krill just getting mowed down already. 2 walkers off the face of the map. This is going to be a speed run. If anything, I think that at this point, big Urners just have to regroup and maybe just try to 6-man all-star ban a lane, blow up a few people, and from there, try to get some presence on the map while sacrificing maybe even base guardians.
Yeah, I think that you're on the right path there. And again, it's not going to be an easy solution here for the big Urners because they're pretty substantially far behind. You've already mentioned that they're less than half of the souls that the Deadlock Deepstate have. So you're really looking for desperation plays at this point, because if you continue to play the map how you have been up until this point, then things are going to be very challenging for you. You're going to need some kind of large-scale rotation if you want to be able to take these fights, because just a 1v1 is not going to cut it for you.
Well, right now, as we get a deeper skirmish, now besieging yet another walker, what I want to see is Mo and Krill positioned a little bit better. That isn't going to be an opportunity right now, as it's going to be Kelvin ult following up upon a McGinnis while totally isolating the mole. So with that in mind, even though he tries to jump away here, the rest of his team is getting blown up without a frontline available. That is everybody except for the Grey Talon and the Ivy now gone, and this is a wave at the back of Deadlock Deepstate to start breaking open the base.
These base guardians 8 minutes into this game not letting off the pressure whatsoever, and this is theoretically, Narco, gonna be the stage of the game where the big Urners team composition should be coming online, but it's just so challenging to mount a defense when you're already this far behind. Abrams, your largest player, already down. Grey Talon trying to force everybody out, and it looks like they will manage to cling onto the shrine a little bit longer, but the question is, for how much longer can they?
Well, at this point, what we're looking at is a composition that has got online versus a composition that has got online, advanced to the AI era, and now is taking a rocket ship into space. Everybody on the side of Deadlock Deepstate has immensely deep pockets, and with the fall of these shrines right here, I really think that they don't even need to leave these bases at this point. They might just be able to jam all the way into enemy territory and take this one out. All they need to do now is blow up this patron, and his GG's in a blazingly fast start here in the Downtown Showdown number 2. We do see an engage on top of the platform, dividing the pit from the rest of the base. Mo and Krill trying to get up there is going to be met with a 6-man stack and just brought down to their death. Ivy tries to follow up with Stoneform, can't find anything. Abrams is still dead, and the patron is getting melted. The only saving grace at this point in time is the fact that big Urners have not really given an opportunity for Deadlock Deepstate to back and fully buy out and cash in on the massive fortune that they have. Given that that is the case right now, this patron is going to take a little bit of time to go down. There aren't plenty of waves streaming into enemy territory, so maybe big Urners can have one more miracle fight to try to bring this back. Maybe Deadlock Deepstate overstays, but this is not a way to win the game. This is just a way to prolong the inevitable. I don't think that anybody has really seen this very frequently. The takedown of the patron with barely any DPS with which to do so. But with big Urners constantly dead, it doesn't look like it's going to matter. An 80,000 soul lead to 30k, that's going to be everything.